We can all agree that we want to know how to run better meetings. Meetings that make good use of people's time and that actually moves work forward. Despite the barriers that we all know exist, packed calendars, missing agendas, the real problem is that when things move really fast, even experienced leaders skip the fundamentals that make meetings effective. Yet we can all agree that when we show up with intention and know the purpose of the meeting, the right structure will naturally emerge to serve the ultimate outcome that you're trying to achieve. That's why, to achieve better meetings, we need to slow down just enough to clarify our intentions before we bring people together. Here's how. Start every meeting by explicitly stating what this time is for and what success looks like. I'm going to show you how to use Ibasho to help you hold that intention before and during the meeting. Not only does this help you run better meetings, it will also create meetings where people feel included, focused, and ultimately confident that their time and their presence actually matters. So, say I have a meeting coming up and I'd like to spend just a few minutes preparing for it. I'm going to click Create Meeting and I'm going to be guided through a series of questions. The first one being just what is the core goal of the meeting? Now I recognize you're probably accomplishing multiple of these things in any given session, but it's important to try and choose at least one, which is the most important core goal of your meeting. So let's say I'm bringing a team together to make a plan for something we want to accomplish in the new year. I'm going to choose Make a Plan. Now we're going to get a little more specific. What is the purpose of the meeting? Let's try and describe what success looks like when we walk out of the door or close the virtual meeting. At the end, what do we hope we will have accomplished? And just by thinking through this and typing it here, you're already ahead of the game because you can communicate it to the group, and throughout the meeting you can anchor whether or not it's going well based on how well you're meeting this purpose that you've just defined. Okay, I've just added my purpose. Next, I'm going to think through what do I want the participant experience in this meeting to be. I've given you, I think, 10 options here to choose from. You can choose anywhere between 1 and 3 options. So let's say for this planning meeting, I think it's really important that we take action on the plan. It's not just a bunch of discussion with no follow through. I think it's important that we have clarity about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So I really want to focus on clarity. And lastly, maybe consensus and alignment. I want to make sure that at the end of the meeting, everyone's on the same page about what it is we're going to do and who's going to do it. I want to think through how many people are going to be in this meeting because that might impact how I run it. For this particular meeting, it's going to be small and it's probably going to be between 45 and 60 minutes is what I'm thinking. So now at this point, I have sort of an overview. I have a goal, I have a purpose. I'm starting to think about what participant experiences I want to focus on, and I've thought through the size of the group and the amount of time I have for this meeting. If I wanted to, I could go back and edit one of these. I actually want to add, we also have a visual timeline. Cool. And then have to click back through all the way to the end. But there we go. This is our draft of the meeting. So next we're going to build the agenda. Ibasho has named my meeting for me, but maybe I want to give it a different title. We'll call this the Virtual Community Planning Session. Cool. And it's starting off with an introduction pre-populated on the agenda and a closing pre-populated on the agenda. Whenever I add anything new to the agenda, it will insert that item in between the introduction and the closing. Let me take a moment to add a few items to this working agenda. Okay, so I've started crafting the agenda, and at this point it's just kind of a loose list of ideas of things I think we might want to accomplish during this meeting. So let's go through. On second thought, now that I look at it, I think it's probably more important for us to decide who's eligible to join this imaginary community group before we brainstorm the steps to launch it, so I can reorder the agenda items. I also want to think about how much time I have overall and how much time I can dedicate to each of these. Let's say we know we have 1 hour, 60 minutes, so that's my target time box. I'm going to add some rough, I'm just going to kind of guess how much time I might spend on each agenda item and put that in here. So one thing to be cautious of is assuming that agenda items will take less time than they will in reality. I've noticed as a meeting facilitator, when we time box things for 3 minutes or 5 minutes, it's often in an effort to try and cram as many things into a meeting as possible. But if you're trying to actually have a rich conversation and give people time to have dialogue, you can't accomplish that in 3 or 5 minutes. You probably need more time than that. So I'm going to extend this time box to about 10 minutes. Now, unfortunately, with this set of agenda items and these time boxes, I'm taking up more time than I have allocated to the meeting. So at this point I can make a decision. Do we take more than an hour to try and do all of these things well? Or do I try and limit the time boxes so that I can make sure I can fit it within an hour? Okay, I've made some adjustments to the time boxes so that it can all fit within our total time box of 1 hour, and I might consider if it really would take us 20 minutes to accomplish one of these things, maybe what I could do is send out some information in advance and ask people to do a little pre-read so that we can come into this meeting and use this time more effectively. Okay, once I've saved my draft of a meeting, I'll find it here on the My Meetings page. I can click in to facilitate it. Now at this point you have several options as a facilitator. You could just sort of keep this view for yourself. Maybe you put it on the screen at the beginning of the meeting and walk everyone through saying, this is our meeting purpose. You have it right here, so you can just read it to the group and walk them through the agenda that you intend to use for this meeting, keeping in mind that you may need to be flexible and adapt as you go. Maybe you share this link, you could share this link with the participants in the meeting so that they can follow along as you go through. Maybe you share it with them at the end of the meeting when you're ready to gather some feedback. So here's what you can do while you're running your meeting. Whenever you start an agenda item, you click play, and we've got this lovely timekeeper that starts running for you. If you check this one off, it will automatically progress you to the next agenda item and start the timer. You could skip ahead. Things might not always go in the order that you expect them to, so maybe you skip ahead and say, let's actually move forward and brainstorm the steps to launch the new group. And that's okay, that will mark that one complete. And if you were to say, actually wait, we didn't quite finish sharing the vision for the new community, let's go back to that agenda item, that's fine, you can go back into it, and that running clock will pick up where it left off. So what it's doing is measuring how much time you've spent on that item, even if you left it and came back to it. Now, when you're ready to end the meeting, it's always a good idea to take a few minutes to close out. Go back and revisit the meeting purpose. Say, we were here to kind of repeat that. It's a good idea at the end to just summarize what decisions were made, what actions everyone has agreed to. That creates closure for everyone present, rather than just running out of time and people start hanging up, leaving the meeting without having that sense of closure. Now, a very important step that something that Ibasho here helps you with is there's a feedback form. Okay, let me show you what the feedback gathering looks like. So when a participant in your meeting joins, they will see this view. So I'm just going to give myself a name and join as a guest in this case. But when you open feedback, the meeting participants will be shown a series of questions. The first question is always, how well did we achieve the purpose of today's meeting? And we have the purpose there for them to be reminded of. So let me read this. We have a plan for how we're going to launch. I think we did a pretty good job. I think we missed a few things, but I'm going to give us a medium smiley face. So there's our quick rating there. By the way, these responses are anonymous. You remember earlier when we built this meeting, I chose a couple of different participant experiences that were important to me. One of them was action and follow through. So these feedback questions are tied back to the choices that you made earlier when you were setting this meeting up. Responsibilities were assigned for follow-up actions. Maybe we kind of did that, but I'm still a little bit unsure, so I'm going to go middle of the road there. Consensus and alignment was one of those themes I chose earlier. We reached agreement on the key points discussed. I think for the most part, but again, there might have been some things we're a little bit unsure about, so I'll give us a good score there. Clarity of information. Was the content of the meeting well structured? Let's say the information that came in was just a little bit all over the place and it took us forever to talk through it and it just wasn't well structured. So I'm going to give this one a medium frowny face. This analytics page needs a lot of work, but the vision is for you to be able to take that information that you gathered at the end of every session and help you make decisions about how to optimize your meetings. There might be some really low performing meetings, like you can see here, this weekly team check-in is the lowest performing meeting of all of my meetings. So that is where I would want to focus my energy on trying to maybe eliminate it if it's not serving a purpose, or trying to understand why it's not serving its intended purpose. Whereas, these meetings in the green, I probably don't need to invest any energy into improving them if they're working really well. Give it a try for yourself. Go to ibasho.app and you can create your first meeting in just a few minutes. Thanks for watching.